Yes, we are. Namaste, precious, precious souls. Thank you so much for joining Book of Life. Going forth into the light, third degree, lesson 17. These next two lessons are really focusing on the Bardo. Next month will be the actual Bardo. We'll go into the actual language of the Bardo. So it'll be very, very powerful, very powerful. So without any further ado, if anybody doesn't have any questions, we will rock into a invocation and then we will start. Okay. Go ahead and just place the tip of the tongue on your palate. Be in a nice receptive pose. Be nice and relaxed. To the causal logos, the creator of all that is, to the great architect of the universe, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, to all the great ones, to Holy Master Choa, to Buddha Padmasambhava, to the Circle of Seven, to Robert and Erlyn Cheney, to Master Astalea, Lord Kutumi, Lord Rama, Lord Zoser, to the Astarian hierarchy, to the Lord Rabbi Yehoshua Bar Miriam, the Lord Christ, Holy Mother Mary, Lord Kuan Yin Buddha, Lord Gautama Buddha, to our celestial guides, our angel guides, our higher souls, to Sanat Kumara, the Ancient of Days, the Solar Logos, Lord Amun Ra, the Universal Logos, the Central Spiritual Sun. We humbly invoke for your divine blessings. May we be a channel through which thy holy ones approach the world. May we be a center for the radiation of thy power. Teach us to travel light, that we may better gain the heights, break the bonds that bind. Teach us to give ourselves entirely to thy service, to attune ourselves to thy will. Teach us to lay down the small personal life for the greater cosmic life, and to love with the love of God in full faith. Tat tat so, tat tat so, tat tat so. Okay. So going forth into light, third degree, lesson 17, instructions concerning transition. Before presenting the actual ritual of the Book of the Dead, there are questions which need answering and certain instructions to be given, such as selecting a reader guide, preparing the death room, recognizing the approach of death, recognizing the different phases of the Bardo, preparing an effigy, step-by-step outline of procedure. These instructions are vital, and this lesson should be an inseparable companion to Astara's Book of the Dead. The journey into light. When circumstances permit, the Astarian should be removed from a hospital and brought home to die. It may be best, when possible, to secure permission from the doctor to return the patient home in the event of imminent death prior to entering the hospital. Nothing is more sad than the modern practice of consigning the dying to a hospital and its overburdened staff. When it becomes definite that a patient is terminal, there often follows for that patient long periods of isolation, unintended indifference, and false cheerfulness on the part of hospital attendants. Through the long hours, you wait only from visiting hour to visiting hour for the doctor, whose visits are often too hurried, for some friendly nurse who can spare an extra moment for a chat. Abruptness and inattentiveness are not intended. The staff is busy with the living, and once the patient is made comfortable by some kind of drug, you are frequently left alone for long periods. But the dying are living too, and even for a drugged patient, there must be times of consciousness, an awareness of being alone, a longing to talk with someone, a yearning for the presence of a loved one with whom to share the endless hours, with whom to discuss the coming crisis. The dying pilgrim cannot help feeling already consigned to the realm of the dead, and often there arises a subconscious resentment that you have been abandoned. Suddenly, just looking out a window becomes a precious pastime, depending upon your vantage point in the plain, often darkened room. It is not death so much that the dying dreads, but the dying itself, the long, lonesome loneliness of it. It is difficult even for loved ones to realize the acute aloneness of the dying feel. Too often, efforts are made to avoid discussing the approaching event. Every attempt the pilgrim makes to discuss it is cut short. No one wants to listen to you. No one seems to understand the great need you have to share this coming crisis. No one knows just what to say, what right words to use, what psychology to employ. The subject of approaching death is avoided at all costs. Astarians should know better. The only understanding needed is that enthusiasm for your coming vacation in Summerland should be encouraged, built up, discussed at length. When our beloved friend Burton Bigelow discovered he was dying, he sent for us. We discussed his coming journey as if he planned a long holiday in the Bahamas or the Riviera. When I shake off this hulk of a body, he said, what a time I'm going to have. I'm going to see all the places I've wanted to see, the pyramids, the Tibetan home of the masters, Shambhala in the Gobi, the spiritual retreat in the Andes. Oh, fine, I said. And what about us? How about all the help we need writing the degree lessons? While you're flirting around all those places, what about the editing help you've been giving us through the years? Aren't you even going to remember how we'll need you? Sorry, letting somebody in. That, little friend, will be my chief occupation. And we talked at length of the help we would continue to give, and how much better the help would be from his higher vantage point. As we said our farewells, Robert quipped, now, Burton, for heaven's sake, don't start right off telling God how to run things. Not right off, Robert, his eyes twinkled. I'll look around a bit first, get my bearings, and listen to his side of things for at least a couple of weeks. But you can bet your boots heaven will never be the same. And for us, it never will. Every possible effort should be made to have the dying Astarian at home. Home, where the aromas are not medicinal, where the faces that smile are filled with genuine affection, where a loved one can sit by the bedside during the final days and hours and discuss, even with anticipation, the coming life over there. The sorrow of parting can be shared, not buried within like some unholy secret. The separation can be discussed quietly, intelligently. Thus, the dying approaches departure not embittered by the resentment of desertion. Such resentment in itself is enough to block recognition of the clear light. Your last hours should be surrounded by that which is familiar to you, by those who sincerely love you, by the aura of home. The assistance of a good hospice agency with skilled and sensitive nurses and social workers who come to the home can make this effort to care for the dying at home an easier and more meaningful time for the family and friends of the one making this transition, and for the patient as well. Heart transplants. Under no circumstances should an Astarian's heart be taken at the moment of death for transplant. As we have already explained, clinical death occurs within 6 to 8 minutes. That is, the breathing ceases, but the heart continues to live, and frequently to throb intermittently for a half hour afterward, sometimes longer. It is during this incomparable first half hour that Kundalini rises in Sushumna and the clear light dawns. True, it usually occurs in the first 6 minutes, but the struggle to adjust to this sudden illumination and bliss often requires more time, and the most vital point is that nothing be allowed to distract the dying. From a medical standpoint, a transplanted heart must be taken from the dying while it is still living, still beating. Therefore, it must be taken immediately following brain death, clinical death, or immediately following the first 6 or 8 minutes after breathing ceases. The dying one is considered to be in an irreversible coma, thus legally dead. It becomes obvious what a delicate decision must be made. The absolute ignorance concerning death in the soul also become obvious. No thought is given to the needs of the soul at such a time. Medically, the dead, one immediately ceases to exist. The truth is, such a procedure denies to you, the dying, your ultimate opportunity for salvation, for liberation, after a whole lifetime of waiting for this supreme moment. What could be more distracting than to have one's heart removed at such a climactic time? The answer is that the science of death demands that the dying be allowed to experience death peacefully, without distraction, and that science create artificial hearts or parts of hearts to use in their transplant operations. The heart of another person will often be rejected anyway, whereas mechanical parts may prove to be more successful. Therefore, Astarion, do not allow yourself or your loved ones to be victims of heart transplants. Insist instead that at least the first 2 hours of death be quiet, tranquil, and prayerful. The above is not necessarily true of the eyes. The eyes are not involved with the transmutation of the life force as is the heart, nor is their removal so complicated a procedure. To tell or not to tell. Circumstances may alter situations, but generally speaking, an Astarion should be told that death is imminent. To an Astarion, death is not extinction, it is a graduation. Therefore, you will not pass into shocked depression. You will prepare your consciousness for the transition. Knowledge of its coming will give you an opportunity to meet it well. The patient from whom the secret is kept usually discovers the truth anyway, and the reaction is almost always deep resentment and even bitterness, however kindly the deception is meant. Such a deception often creates a barrier between loved ones at a time when there should be only trust, loyalty, truthfulness, understanding, companionship, and mutual love. The questions to be answered are, what will you think about the deception when you awaken over there? Will you be grateful? Will you be bitter? Will you be resentful that withholding knowledge of the coming transition gave you no opportunity to prepare your consciousness? That you were denied the chance to say farewell, and I'll be waiting for you. Even among dying hospitalized children, the knowledge of approaching death is now shared. The greatest fear when dying is that a conspiracy of silence will develop, and you will be shut out of the circle. You want to be a part of the secret, a part of the drama of preparation. Remember too, as an Astarion, you no longer fear death. There is no cause to shield you. The gloom and depression into which some lapse will not transpire in the consciousness of the Astarion. Often, as the time of departure draws near, there seems to develop a total disinterest in worldly affairs. If you once devoured details of the latest political, business, sports, space adventures, or social news, you may suddenly find more interest in the flight of birds across the sky, seen through the nearby window. There seems frequently to develop, too, an aloofness toward loved ones. It should never be interpreted as rejection. Rather, it points to a dawning of the light of another world in one's consciousness, a subconscious acceptance of the life to come. During the hours of sleep, you have already been made aware of those waiting to greet you and have already been taken to view your future home. Though such experiences may not be completely remembered in your waking mind, you certainly are aware in your greater mind. Such disinterest and aloofness should be met with kindness and understanding, even joy in your adjustment, your subconscious acceptance of the inevitable. Dying in full consciousness. Whether at home or at a hospital, the use of consciousness-blocking drugs as death approaches should be strongly protested when within the bounds of mercy and compassion. Notified that death is imminent, the family should request that such drugs be withheld so that the departing may pass in a state of full consciousness. Frequently, a doctor feeling a duty to save the dying from pain will automatically order drugs so that the patient may die in peace. If suffering is present, such a procedure is merciful, of course, but many times the death process itself blocks sensations in the sympathetic nervous system, freeing the body from pain. Simultaneously, the fluids in the cerebrospinal nervous system automatically accelerate, releasing Kundalini with its spiritual force and unfolding an extrasensory awareness and lucidity. Unless suffering is present, drugs should be withheld, since actual death is usually approached without physical pain and with unfolding psychic awareness. You should insist upon it. Also, if it is possible to block pain without blocking the consciousness, this should be the procedure. It should be explained to the doctor that you, the departing, have requested that you die at home and that you have asked to be allowed, if possible, to pass in a conscious state. There are now available several types of pain medication which do not block the consciousness, but leave the departing quite lucid. If pain medication is needed, these should be drugs of choice, if at all possible. Sometimes it is neither wise nor practical to remove the dying from the hospital. In this case, every effort should be made to gain permission to conduct a religious ceremony over the body, covering a period of from 20 to 40 minutes following death, depending upon the state of the body as the moments pass. Adjustments must be made according to individual cases and circumstances, and the ritual can be read even though the person for whom it is performed is in some other location, as is explained later. For our present writing, however, we will approach the reading of our Astarian ritual, assuming the dying pilgrim to be at home. The orange light ray. When it has been established that beyond question that death is inevitable, an orange light globe should be inserted in lamps in the death room. The orange light ray stimulates the proper head centers, just as red rays stimulate the generative and solar plexus centers. But apart from this, there are more esoteric considerations. Remember that during the first 6 minutes of death, the red serpent fire of Kundalini will be loosed, perhaps for the first time during the entire incarnation. You, as the dying pilgrim, will experience spiritual ecstasy if Kundalini can reach the brain centers. In its journey up Sushumna, however, it will pause at the chakra which has habitually expressed the greatest activity during life. There, it will exit from the body, taking the life force with it. What has this to do with an orange light globe? Simply this: all during life, Kundalini has stimulated the life force in the generative root chakra at the base of the spine, releasing the creative forces of generation and contributing to the red coloring of the bloodstream. The small portion of physical creative forces, which were resurrected from the root chakra to the brain chakra, were transmuted into mental creative forces. Such a transmutation transformed the red of the generative forces to the pure yellow gold rays of the mental creative forces in the brain. At the death moment, it is important to stimulate the brain center to better attract Kundalini to the summit of the crown chakra, the Brahmarandra. Orange, containing both red and yellow rays, is a most powerful brain stimulant. Its use at this moment could be beneficial. In terms of light rays, red light has the longest wavelength of any of the colors. Orange has the second longest, then yellow, green, blue, and finally violet with the shortest. Wavelengths of light are infinitesimal, about 1/50,000th of an inch long. Thus, light does not bend around ordinary obstructions, and the red light ray is refracted least when encountering obstacles. But at the moment of death, the red light ray alone is not desirable since it stimulates only the physical creative forces. It should be tempered with yellow, the ray of inspirational wisdom. Orange, a combination of red and yellow, is ideal since it possesses the power of a long wavelength refracted very little by obstacles encountered in Sushumna, plus the fact that it contains the yellow ray of the Brahmarandra's spiritual creative force. Thus, orange creates the spiritual union of body and mind, resulting in the transmutation of the red physical creative force into the golden yellow of mental creative force. Selecting the reader. Mantras must be employed. Chanting the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, or only the one sacred word Om, may be beneficial. The chant should be voiced in a steady or an occasional undertone. It should be noted that for some, such chanting could annoy and disturb rather than soothe. You should be placed facing the east when practical or possible. If incense is desired, only sandalwood should be burned. You may prefer to say a rosary prayer. A group rosary prayer would and could be the most powerful of all to create a surrounding white light. Prior to illness, you, the Astarion, may wish to tape record the instructions of the Bardo ritual, either in your own voice or that of the person you select as your personal guide and reader. Thus, as death approaches, the recorder may be placed near you so that you hear the instructions in your own voice or that of your chosen guide. Or select a close friend, preferably a third-degree Astarion or higher, to preside at your deathbed ceremony. One you love or respect, one who represents security, compassion, understanding, one knowledgeable regarding the Bardo, one who comes not as a doctor, but as an informed guide. When death is imminent, the family should call your chosen guide to read Astara's ritual. If he or she is not available, then an Astarion of any status should be called. Again, if this is not possible, the most highly evolved spiritual person obtainable should be selected, whether an Astarion or not. A loved one may, of course, prefer to read the ritual if they are not too emotionally involved to concentrate upon the needs of the dying. Recognizing the approach of death. Every Astarion should be familiar with the signs and sounds of approaching death. Recognizing the symptoms you yourself should employ to vividly recall the Bardo instructions. If you are too weak of it, because of drugs, you become confused. Every Astarion has a right to expect a friend to read the ritual, impressing the instructions forcefully upon their consciousness. It is at this time that the teachings are of vital importance. These are the signs, the 7 signs upward. Number 1, Tibetans call the first sensation that of earth sinking into water. You may experience it as pressure closing in upon you, not physical pressure as such, but a mental sensation of shrinking into the confines of your body, becoming smaller and smaller under the pressure. Number 2, the second is that of altering between coldness and feverish heat. The Tibetans call this sensation of water sinking into fire. 3, the third, the feeling as if the body is exploding, with every atom passing upward and outward, expanding, expanding, expanding. Instead of shrinking into smallness, one seems to be enlarging to encompass the body. The Tibetans call it the sensation of fire sinking into air. Number 4, fourth, a band of pressure around the head and ears, as if an uncanny power is gathering to launch the mind into outer space. 5, the fifth, tingling sensations in your hands and feet, much as if they had gone to sleep. Number 6, sixth, the body itself seems to become a stream of flowing wax, slowly melting and becoming more fluid. 7, seventh, the sensation of vibrations beginning in the root chakra and rising upward toward the brain, causing an inward trembling as if you are a poised spacecraft about to rise from the launching pad of your body and ascend slowly into space. Similar sensations may also occur during the process of meditation. My own experience has been the head swimming sensation of an approaching faint, as if I am about to fall upward out of my body instead of downward to the floor. As the spiraling sensation continues, the fainting swoon passes upward through the top of the head to become an ascending, expanding consciousness. Any of these sensations, whether during meditation or in death, should not create fear, but be recognized as signs of approaching illumination. Signs for the reader of the ritual to watch for are these: sagging facial muscles, labored breathing, glazed eyes, blueness beneath the fingernails, extreme coldness in the feet, which gradually creeps upward. If you, as the pilgrim, drift to sleep, you should be gently roused until the time when your breathing actually ceases. The attempt is being made to help you pass in full consciousness. The arrival of the coldness around the heart signals the cessation of the heartbeat. If relatives are to occupy the death room, they must be admonished to make few sounds. If they are apt to weep or lament loudly, they should be asked to wait outside the room, for there should be no disturbing influence at this time. This, of course, does not mean those present should be afraid to allow themselves to cry and to speak quietly to one another, their support and love in this time of transition and power. It simply means that loud mourning is not what is most called for at this all-important moment in the life of the departed. The spiritual needs of the departing loved one must take precedence. Speaking quietly to one another and to the departed, either before or after the ritual, is fine. All doors and windows should be closed so that complete silence may be maintained. When the guide begins reading the ritual, those who are in the room should direct every ounce of their mental power toward the pilgrim to help recognize the white light at the moment the breath ceases. As the words of the ritual are read, if you are advanced in yoga, and if your consciousness is not clouded by karma, you will recognize the clear light as it dawns. The words of the ritual, seeping into your expanding consciousness, will help you hold to the light and, at the supreme moment of leaving your body, become one with it. The voice of the guide helps you to face the dawning clear light directly and to recognize it. Frequently, the breath may be stilled altogether, even though the heart may continue to pulse. It is during this state that the clear light dawns, for death does not become a reality until the heartbeat ceases altogether. Those who are not spiritually evolved may experience a very brief duration of this state, and the light will be veiled. In those who have unfolded spiritual qualities, this state may continue for a longer period. The breath may come at irregular intervals, and the heart may continue to beat intermittently. Preparing an effigy. If, because of accident or any other reason, the body cannot be present, or if it has been dispatched to the mortuary before the ritual can be completed, some may wish to prepare conditions to conform to your actual presence as closely as possible. In Tibet, where the Bardo rituals had their birth, if it is not possible to have the body present, an effigy of the deceased is made. Although you may not wish to follow this procedure, it is important to be familiar with it. The Tibetans create the effigy by dressing a block of wood or a stool or any other suitable object in the clothes of the deceased. A picture of the deceased is placed where the face would be. This effigy is surrounded by objects symbolizing the 5 physical senses. A mirror is placed to the left of the effigy, symbolizing the physical body, which reflects all phenomena of body sensation, particularly that of sight. 2, a conch shell is placed to the left and a lyre to the right, symbolizing the sense of hearing. 3, a vase of flowers is placed to the right, symbolizing the sense of smell. 4, holy cakes or wafers like those used in a Eucharist are placed to the right, symbolizing the sense of taste. 5, a piece of silken material is placed to the right, symbolizing the sense of touch. In front of or beneath the picture which represents the deceased are printed these words: I, the world's departing one, their name, adore and take refuge in my Lama confessor and all the deities, both peaceful and wrathful. May the great pitier forgive my accumulated sins of former lives and show me the way to another good world. At the termination of the funeral, the face picture part of the effigy is ceremoniously cremated. The ashes are mixed with clay and water and molded into sacred letters, such as Om. After these forms have dried, they are kept in a receptacle on the family altar or buried in a site removed from daily traffic. The cremated face paper thus takes on the aspect of reverence and often acts as a contact point between the deceased and those left on earth. With the burning of the face paper, the rest of the effigy is dismantled and the clothing put away or given away. Most historians of the Western world will not wish to follow such detailed procedure. However, if the body of the deceased cannot be present or cannot be held the desired time following death, you may wish to continue the ceremony anyway. If so, then choose as the site of the bed of the deceased as for a favorite chair. You may wish simply to use a picture surrounding it with objects highly magnetized with the aura of the deceased, such as a ring, a lock of hair, a favorite book or scripture, a keychain holding keys habitually used, a blessed talisman. You may wish to follow the Tibetan custom and also place a mirror, a conch shell or musical instrument, a vase of flowers, a blessed cloth, such as a silk scarf or piece of personal clothing. Many non-ritualistic Astarians may wish to simply use a picture. The idea is to establish a center imbued with the aura of the deceased, the better to attract them at whatever phase they may be in the bardo and hold their attention while the words of the ritual are read. The ritual should be read exactly with the assumption that their spirit is present. After the funeral service, you may wish to follow the custom of the Tibetans and burn the picture, unless it is your sole copy, along with any other small item of clothing, flowers, etc., used during the ritual, and place the ashes in a receptacle, such a receptacle placed beside another picture together with flowers and perhaps a book of scripture could become a small shrine sacred to the memory of your loved one. Scrolls of the Bardo. Since ancient times, the Tibetans and the Egyptians have written sections of their Book of the Dead and have rolled such writings into small scrolls. They have attached them to the body of the deceased or have placed them in the casket. These scrolls, containing instructions for the departed, are either cremated or interred with the body. It is popularly believed that these fragments of the Bardo scriptures act as powerful talismans to guide and protect the departed on their journey through the Bardo. Again, you may not wish to follow these ancient ideas. They may be pure superstition, pure fancy, or pure truth. As for me, I hope some loved one will roll a complete copy of Astara's Book of the Dead, tie it with a ribbon, and either place it in my hands or beside my body. Just the simple gesture itself will be inspiring. Bardo and astrology. Among the Tibetans, one of the first acts performed after death is to consult an astrologer, giving the exact moment the breath ceased. Using this as a basis of astrological calculations, along with the previous charts, it is firmly believed that the path of destiny of the departed may be somewhat revealed. Supposedly, the astrologer is able to determine the after-death realm to which the deceased is destined, and also the appropriate time, continent, race, and conditions under which the deceased will be reborn. Such a procedure may be followed by Astarians who are trained to prepare such charts, it being understood, of course, that the next incarnation may not occur for thousands of years in the future. Outline of instructions. For those who wish it, last sacrament anointings of Holy Chrism should be administered. We shall describe them in our next lesson. Then, while actual death is awaited, the pilgrim may wish to make a confession of sins. Without being allowed to dwell upon mistakes, one should confess, ask God's forgiveness in one's own way, then turn full concentration toward the approaching clear light. As for the reader, first comes the setting face to face as the symptoms of death occur, beginning just prior to death itself. Second, reading of the reminders, just following actual death, the cessation of the heartbeat. Third, guidance as the pilgrim enters the third stage of the Bardo, reading the ritual as a guide into the highest and best opportunity for awakening in the higher regions of light. If possible, the body should be held peacefully at home until at least the first phases of the ritual have been completed. If at a hospital, permission should be sought to leave the body undisturbed for ceremonial purposes for at least 40 minutes, if possible, the time necessary for the clear light and the secondary clear light. In some cases, depending on the nature of the disease causing death, such permission cannot be given. The reading of the ritual should continue as if the pilgrim were present and listening. This is true whether death occurs at the hospital or at home. If at home, follow instructions under the section concerning the effigy. Continue the ritual using a picture. Add flowers, a few personal items as it suits your desires. If at a hospital, you may need to proceed without any of these. Reading the entire ritual, including the third phase and the judgment, should cover a period of about 2 hours, beginning just prior to cessation of the breath. It has been scientifically admitted that the transition from life to death is a lengthy process. It has been divided into 2 phases. First, the clinical or apparent death, and second, the biological death. Clinical death occurs when the breath ceases. Metabolic processes and the highly organized nerve cells of the brain cortex can survive for about 6 minutes, after which, due to the arrest of blood and oxygen circulation, they disintegrate. But death of the individual organs, that is, biological death, may cover a period of several hours. Included must be the report that the 6-minute period of clinical death has, under scientific experiment, been extended as long as half an hour when hyperthermia or general cooling of the body is employed, together with narcotic sleep. Biological death, the final death of each of the organs, may require as long as 15 hours. Our ritual will assume that the reader continues to read the first section for the first 20 minutes of death, concerning the dawning of the clear light. Usually, at the end of this first phase, the consciousness falls away from the clear light into a swoon. It is during this swoon that the pilgrim withdraws from the body. The silver cord is severed, and the heart completely ceases to beat. It is also during this phase, lasting usually another 20 minutes after clinical death, that is, after the breath ceases, that the pilgrim witnesses the secondary clear light. Therefore, the reader will read the first section for the first 20 minutes of death, then begin the second section concerning the secondary clear light, and read for another 20 minutes. Thus, from 40 minutes to an hour following death, the Astarian pilgrim should waken fully aware of have stepped out of the physical form. One unacquainted with mysticism may wonder what strange thing has happened. An Astarian will know immediately that the deceased has made the transition and has witnessed the dawning of the clear light, the secondary clear light. As the pilgrim, you will realize that you are as much alive as you ever were while in the body. In fact, considerably more so. You will realize how true it is that there is no death. For the Astarian, the bardo is over. You are freed from your physical shell and ready to function in a state of super-awareness. The Sidpa bardo, the third phase, need not be read at the death of an Astarian. It can be safely assumed that through Astarianry, you have attained some measure of light, that you are already wearing your new astral form. The average person, awakening about 40 minutes following clinical death, may pass again into a partial swoon or hypnotic trance. Such a one faces an experience of Sidpa bardo, the third phase. Some Astarians may wish to have the Sidpa ritual read, whether needed or not only at the time of death, but at selected times during the following 2 days, thus covering the first 3 days of death. The instructions given can be clearly heard and assimilated by the consciousness. The Sidpa portion is presented for these Astarians. Some will also wish the entire ritual read to and for their non-Astarian friends and relatives. Any Astarian who believes it necessary may read Astara's death ritual to such persons. The Sidpa portion and the judgment ritual should consume another hour at the time of death, thereby totaling 2 hours. With the completion of the ritual, the face of the departed should be covered and the morticians called. To repeat, the body may need to be dispatched to the mortuary or released to hospital attendants at any time during the 40 minutes to 2 hours period, depending upon any number of reasons. The ritual should be continued as if the pilgrim is physically present. Illusionary visions. If because of karmic obstructions, you, the pilgrim, fail to perceive both the first clear light and the secondary clear light, then will begin the Sidpa Bardo, the third phase. This is the stage when karmic illusions manifest, and it is during this period that the reading of the ritual has much power for good. Although you will have completed your physical transition, your spirit will be experiencing a state similar to hypnotic trance. In this state, sounds and lights begin to rise, which assume strange shapes. These become increasingly awesome, possibly arousing fear and confusion. It is important that you be again set face to face with the Bardo of reality. That is, you should hear the words of the ritual being repeated. Depending upon your spiritual advancement, you may depart Sidpa Bardo at any time. If you are not spiritually evolved and are enmeshed in the seine of karma, you may be held in its grip for the first 3 days of death. The Bardo ritual will guide you through this maze, reminding you to pause, to seek among the forms for the one who is your savior or master teacher. The ritual persuades you to listen, to be guided toward the opportunity of merging with the light of the saving deity, and through this light, gain a place on the high astral. The light forms that appear will be created by the good acts you have intermittently performed, even in the midst of any negative thoughts and deeds. These light forms will also be sent to you by our loving Heavenly Mother Father, whoever seeks to turn their children toward the light. Some people lead manifestly colorless lives, attaining neither a good nor bad karmic record. They may meet with a neutral Bardo experience, knowing neither happiness nor fear, mentally drifting in a drab, colorless maze of indifference. Those who have been sincerely devoted to religion but have attained no knowledge of the Bardo may experience delightful pleasures. For the one who fails to gain liberation from the Bardo during the Sidpa phase, the scenes of the Sidpa eventually merge into the lonesome valley of the judgment. You, the pilgrim, find yourself in your hallucinatory visions, quaking before the Lord of Death, who symbolizes your own consciousness rising to cause your intense remorse. The white genie, the evil genie, and the Lord of Death are all hallucinations rising as illusions in the guilty conscious. To summarize, at the end of the Bardo, the pilgrim travels one of several paths. 1. Immediate rebirth. The earthbound soul may succumb to the rising desire to possess another physical form and will pass into the dream state, which leads to immediate rebirth. This path is rarely followed. 2. Purgatory. The soul will descend to the purgatorial or hell regions of the astral, there to work out some measure of its karma. According to its karma, it will stay on the lower planes for a brief or extended period, after which it will ascend through the planes, ultimately reaping its brief rewards in the heaven worlds. Its stay there also depends upon the measure of its good deeds and right thinking while on earth. After a period, when the soul has lived out this blessing, the permanent seed atoms will activate a longing to possess an earth body again and meet material challenges, and it will respond. How long it will have been on the inner planes, no one can say. It varies with individual karma. 3. Astral happiness. The average person escapes the judgment and karma in the lower regions and progresses to the intermediate astral planes. From here, the soul may spend hundreds of years progressing slowly upward to attain the heights of the causal planes. From this plane, it will reincarnate. Most initiates will merge with the secondary clear light, ascend to the high astral or mental plane, and being their upward journey from there, they too, after spending a period on the causal plane, may reincarnate. Others, merging with the clear light, will immediately attain the realms of paradise. Having gained liberation, they will no longer be required to experience human birth. For the non-ritualistic, it should be stated that there are many who have little patience with ritual, nor will they wish their loved ones removed from hospital care. They will wish the body dispatched to the mortuary in the usual way after death, and they may favor heart removal for heart transplants. We cannot find fault with these Astarians. Ritual appeals principally to those responsive to certain rays, and it is understandable that, for many, ritual and ceremony seem utterly superfluous. But in any case, we do request for an Astarian that the death ritual be read during the first 6 minutes if possible. Surely 6 minutes of ritual is not too much to consider. No soul can ever understand the true psychic and spiritual experience of the Bardo, the clear light, the void, until it experiences death itself. But every soul deserves center stage for this event, and the living, regardless of personal belief, should establish the highest and best circumstances for the supreme occasion. Our next lesson will present Astaro's Book of the Dead with full details of rite and ceremony. Knowledge and wisdom are the twin keys to the Temple of Life. These are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, let us end with a little blessing, the August blessing. So just go ahead and just close your eyes, place the tip of the tongue on your palate, and just be in a receptive pose. May your thoughtfulness and generosity become a center of expanding light in the world, ever growing and expressing the cosmic powers through which all humankind will further evolve. And may your own life be enlightened by the reflection of that greater light. Let that so. In the daily expression of our lives, may our attunement with the infinite continuously be strengthened. From that unceasing source and into each of our activities, may there flow the higher powers and guidance that will help lead us to the accomplishment of our goals and the realization of our ideals. Help us to be a receptive center through which divine will and purpose find a ready channel of expression. May the light of our life blend harmoniously with the infinite light, and a better way of life of ourselves and others thereby be revealed. May this manifest spiritually, mentally, emotionally, etherically, physically, into every cell and the space surrounding every cell, into every atom and the space surrounding every atom, with unconditional love, the pure white light. So mote it be. Tat tat so, tat tat so, tat tat so. Namaste, 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 precious souls. Thank you so, so much for coming. We'll see you tomorrow night for the blessing of the prayer petitions. Take good care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.